Thank you, sir. I humbly request our Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Abhayanand, to deliver the Convocation address to the graduating students and enlighten us with his rich and diverse experience.
President, FORE Management, School of Management, Sri Jitendra Das ji, Director of the School of Management, Sri Madhukar ji, all the faculty of this School of Management, and most of all, students who are here in this hall receiving their degrees and diplomas, as well as students, I have been told, who are not here in the hall but are watching this convocation outside the hall and maybe from outside this campus also. I must thank and I'll begin by thanking the management of the School of Management for having given me this opportunity of interacting with you. Why they gave me this opportunity, I do not know. They have introduced me to you, both Dr. Das and Sri P.C. Sharma ji. I was listening to them very intently. Those are words which I am thankful to them for having uttered for me. But let me introduce myself with my limitation. Since I am here in an August, very academic atmosphere, so I feel that I must tell you my limitation also. First one is very obvious. The qualification that I hold is the least that a person should have to get into government service, and that is a graduate. Beyond that, there is a long story. Number two, I never underwent a very structured sort of a course like you do, where you collect data, you interpret results. Although I was a science student, but I did science in the way we used to do science in our days, that is early 60s. But whatever experience I have gathered is through the life that I have led. That experience cannot be considered to be a very structured experience with a lot of data and a lot of conclusions. It's not even remotely heuristic also. The experience that I have is certain things which I have noticed. There are certain vicarious experiences that I have gathered. And maybe I have overgeneralized those experiences at times, although I take care not to generalize experiences beyond a limit. So these are the two limitations that I thought I must introduce myself to you with. When I came here and somebody was, robing me, sort of putting the robe around my shoulders, there was a thought which came to me at that moment. And while I was sitting here, I thought I would share two thoughts with you while this was being done. All along my life, I wanted to be a part of such a convocation, because as people have introduced me to you, I had topped my university, I was the best graduate of that year. The fact is that I have still to get my degree, because when I started, immediately after I did my graduation in physics, I was filling up the UPSC forms and they wanted a degree, copy of the degree. I didn't have it. So I applied for a mark sheet and they gave me a mark sheet. That too, a temporary one, not the final thing. UPSC fortunately accepted that mark sheet and I was allowed to appear and I got through and I'm here. But the formal degree I could never get. And therefore the formal convocation I could never attend. I think it never took place. So that was the first hearing that I thought I wanted to be a part of it. I never sat there, and finally I am here as a chief speaker or chief guest, whatever you call it. So that was one thought. The second thought was, it's quite relevant to management, School of Management. I also wanted to study management as a formal education. But as I told you, did my BSc, got into police, got straight into action at the age of 23, 24, I was a district superintendent of police. I was into action. 6 years in the job, I was working in the CBI and I applied for admission to a management school. It's now in Jharkhand, a prestigious management school. I will not name it, quite prestigious. For a course for professionals, people who do jobs and in the evening attend classes and do their management course. I did that very seriously, 6 months, first 6 months. The first semester, it so happened that the date of the examination was fixed for the first semester. I had to conduct a raid at Calcutta. So I went for that raid, came back one day before the examination, went to the campus. And then I was told that the exams have been preponed and conducted. I felt quite sad about it, quite bad and quite sad, because I had never heard an examination getting preponed. Postponed, Bihar exams used to be postponed, but preponed, never. I really felt bad about it. So I went to the director and I said, "Sir, thank you so much. I won't like to study management in a mismanaged institute where you can't even decide the date of examination." The director asked me to continue. He said, "Third semester we'll conduct your test for the first semester." I was slightly obstinate right through. So I said, "No, thank you. I'm not studying." First year I remember I did electronic data processing, organizational behavior and managerial economics. These were the 3 things which I did in the first year, and then first semester, and then forgot about it. But I keep reading these books, management books, and what fascinated me for the first time was the marketing thing, Philip Kotler. I never studied in a management school, but I kept reading that book, and you know what fascinated me most was, and that book, at various places I found that certain principles of marketing can be applied to goods and services. And I used to wonder if in the Indian police service is a service, can you apply marketing to the Indian police service? Policing, if it is a service, can we apply the principles of marketing to service? And this kept haunting me. Right through my career, I tried to experiment with this idea. So these are the 2 thoughts, when I thought I was here in a school of management and addressing the students getting degrees in the convocation. These 2 thoughts came to me. This was just an aside which I thought I'll begin with. Now coming to the serious part of it. I was very intently watching your faces. There are 2 very prominent expressions that came to me, what I could register. One, a lot of happiness. It's a momentous occasion, there is no doubt about it. It's a momentous occasion. You have worked for it, and not only in the last 2 years that you've been doing your PGDM courses, but I think right from the day you started your schooling, you were preparing for it. You have acquired skills right through your class 1s and 2s in your college and here. I think now you have reached almost the pinnacle of acquisition of skill activity. So that's a sense of achievement that you get. It's a very important crossroad. Yes, you stand here with a lot of expectations. And then all of you have been placed, I've been told. So you're looking forward to your opportunities and challenges. There is a road ahead. The road I can see is about 30 years long. How do you negotiate that 30 years? Will it be all one type? Will it keep changing those 30 years? Since we all have at our age crossed that road, of course with different skills and with different challenges and opportunities, the quality of the expectations and the skills required, qualitatively I think it all matches. First thing that I would like to talk to you about is the challenges that you will face, because all of you would, and I think you are perfectly within your right to expect growth, expect achieving heights in your profession, whichever profession you choose, whether it is as an entrepreneur, whether it is in a private sector job or a government sector job, or whatever type of activity you choose to undertake. You would like to reach high, yes, and you should, because you've been, I said, you've acquired all that skill, and now you have to put that skill to use. The question that I would like to ask you is, what is that one thing which you think you must have to reach heights? As I said, whatever field you choose to work in. I also gave it a thought, not when I was at your age, but later on when I look back in retrospect. What is it that I did to at least reach me to the top of the position in the field that I was working in? And the one thing which kept coming back to my mind was being unreasonable. And I can tell you, gentlemen, if you be reasonable all through your life, you will remain an average person. You have to be unreasonable, and let me now define or explain what I mean by unreasonable. If you just keep on accepting things which are being doled out to you by the world, you're being very reasonable. And if you have ideas which initially the world doesn't accept, what I mean by world is not the entire universe, but the environment and the milieu that you work in, that's a world. And that's where your impact is felt. Unless you expand your milieu manifold, there are people who can do that. But then the world is the milieu that you work in. Make the world accept your views, not through your authority, but through your power of conviction and the power of proof. Proof means results. If you can get results and show it, you are at the top. And nobody can stop you from that. So the one idea that I wanted to talk to you about is, don't just be reasonable people. You don't have to be committing crimes to be unreasonable. But keep struggling at it. Keep fighting it out. And if you are convinced, don't be convinced by the majority. Unfortunately, in our democracy, majority counts. But in most of the professions, this majority doesn't count, it's the result that counts. If you can get the best result when nobody agrees with you, and they see that the results are there for everyone to see, you have beaten the majority, you have been successful, and you've been unreasonable. The problem with being unreasonable is that most of us are not trained to be unreasonable. The type of education that we receive, I have undergone the same type of education that you have undergone. You are privileged because you went to a school, you went to a college. Most of you would have gone to a good school, a good college. Good means reputed, good college, good school. The unfortunate part is, most of the schools and most of the colleges, when they teach us, they don't teach us the whys, they teach us the hows. If you look back, you will find that even in your very early classes, the primary schools, most of the time, like, I'll give you an example, and I have actually experienced this teaching class 3, class 2 students in rural areas and even in urban areas. I can give you a number of instances of what I experienced. And that's why I'm, as I said, generalizing this as a concept, talking to you. You tell children to calculate the LCM, and they will calculate it. They will not know what LCM is. So that's what I'm saying. We are trained in the hows. A mathematical language, we will say algorithms. You give them an algorithm, but what is the purpose of the algorithm? What is it that we are trying to achieve? What does it really mean? Can we do it in a different way? And why are we doing it? These are questions which children are not expected to ask. And as teachers, we are not even supposed to encourage them to ask such questions. As I said, unfortunately, we are all schooled in the same form. And that is the biggest hurdle which stops people at our level, at your level. When I say our, I mean you, who are now at that crossroad, from becoming unreasonable. Unreasonable people are those who question the basics and they say, why only this way? And why only this? Why not the other way? I have tried to, I will not share those experiences with you because that may not be very relevant. But even in policing, I have found this works, being unreasonable. Why only this way? Police is a highly traditional process. They say, Bihar mein, there is a jargon in Hindi, is a piche dekho, aage chalo. Whenever you have a problem, पहले कभी ये आया था क्या, तो हाँ ऐसे सॉल्व किया गया, तो solve it again. Do it the same way. And as repeating the same failures, you will not get a better result. So think of why this failure, and why are we trying to solve it in this way? Why can't we solve it in another way? So you get into a situation, try to figure out, everyone is trying to find out a solution. The whole thing becomes very complex, and people start getting data, the data of failures, and then you start analyzing the data. You somehow get messed up, and you're not able to understand as to what we are doing, and we do a lot of big data analytics. And finally, I do not know where we end up. So, the way I look at it is, once a problem gets complicated and you do not know what we are doing, the best way is to detach yourself and try and question the basics. What is happening? What are we doing? Are we trying to go round and round and nothing comes out of it? If you start thinking about it, you will realize that you stop analyzing things. It's a very important concept which I am trying to uh, give out to you. We are trained in science and therefore we keep analyzing. And analysis, as the word says, is you break it up. Keep breaking things into parts, and see every part and see how it works out. When nothing comes out of it, a better way is to synthesize and look at the whole thing as one. Can you see it? If you can, I think you've got the answer. Because people say the whole at times is much bigger than the parts. And while analyzing, you break it up into parts, you lose parts of the whole. And those go out and those are not factored in again. So, the better way at times is to synthesize. And I was talking to a group. It was not a very formal invited talk at ISB Hyderabad. And when I gave this idea, somebody asked me, "Sir, how do you know that you have actually synthesized and you have seen everything as one?" This concept is true in any profession. I have applied it to the police. As I said, I'm not going to get into that area, it may not be very relevant to you. But the answer is, it's a beautiful answer. If you reach to that one idea which encompasses everything, it will be like, it will be reduced, if you know your English or your Hindi, it will be one simple sentence with no conjunction, with no ifs and no thens, no buts, no adjectives, no conjunctions. It will be a simple noun, a verb and an object. And 3 or 4 words, sentence is complete, everything is encompassed. I think you have reached it. And as you grow in your service, as you grow in your profession, I'm used to using this word service, in your profession, you will realize that you are moving from analysis to synthesis. When you get to the top, you will have all your subordinates who will keep attacking you with, "Sir, aise nahi hoga to nahi ho sakta hai." So they are having a sectoral view of the whole thing. You are at the top. You will have to synthesize everything and see where is that one thing which impinges on every other thing. If you can do that, you have reached to the top. And bring out that one thing. The parallel that I have drawn is from, I've been a student of physics. I used to wonder, F is equal to mass into acceleration. What a simple equation. But how powerful. E is equal to mc square. How powerful. And it encompasses almost everything, if you can really understand it. So that's what I am saying. Train your mind. Initially at your age, you will not be able to synthesize. Train your mind to be a good analyst. But out of those 30 years of that run from here onwards, about 15 to 20 years will be a lot of analysis. The last 10 years, when you are reaching to the top, you must also from here onwards train your mind to be a good synthesizer. And as I said, the test of that synthesis would be, can you phrase that one sentence and say, yes, here it is, here is the crux of the matter, and it will define the problem, it will also give you solutions. That was the idea mostly which I wanted to veer around in this talk with you. And the final thing, it will not hit you immediately, you may not be able to appreciate it, but 30 years beyond, if you are still alive, there will be a period of retirement, and then you have something to talk back about. You still have a lot of energy to do something. Try and do whatever is socially relevant. Life is not all about becoming rich. It's not also about reaching to the top. At the end of it all, the whole process, if you can satisfy yourself that you have given back whatever you have taken, then I think you have lived a life worthwhile, meaningful. May God bless you all, and may God also bless the FORE School of Management, because whatever I heard from people on the dais is commendable and exemplary. Thank you very much.